Boy, I come here to get busy, and it won't be no different from all the previous killers. I don't miss with this rap tighter than a Nike shoebox with socks as a Christmas gift. Can't swap a verse with me, I'm a saint till I ain't. Then somehow you shank with a fleur-de-lis. I don't need an army to arm me in me unless it's plenty. Don't care who do this or did it, I'm still gonna do my did it, coming with it. My people love me cause that's what I give them. Yeah, I bump heads with them, but a bust yours for playing with them. I cut the line to get in front of who you thought was next. I'm usually humble about this, but this ain't the time for that. So as long as these rappers know it ain't safe trying to try me, then hey, les éléments en roulé. You must not know I get out. I don't know what you come to do, but I come to do my thing. I don't know what you come to do, but I come to do my thing. Stop playing with me.
I'm here to talk with John Rich and Jared Robinson about a couple of topics that's going on in the NBA. What a lot of people don't know, my first episode of Hanging with July and Wilt, it was just called Hanging with July. My first episode, John Rich, Jared, and my dog James Coaching Ball was on the first episode. I don't know if y'all remember, but y'all was on the first episode. So shout out to y'all. We're gonna jump right into it. I want to talk about the Pelicans first. Since Jared, you're a Pelicans fan, I want to talk about the Pelicans first. To me, I haven't watched too many Pelicans games, but I did watch the game the other night when y'all played us Portland. It seems like y'all have all the right pieces to be a great defensive team. That's what I see. But for some reason, y'all not. So I'm gonna start with you, Jared. What do you think y'all have to make any offseason moves? If so, what moves do y'all have to make?
You know, it's easy for a team to be like, well, you know, we can make a move at the trade deadline, and a lot of teams there's a clear need or a clear thing that can help upgrade them. You know, if the Lakers get a big man that's not Marc Gasol, it can help them a lot. If the Nets get some kind of defense anywhere on the court, it can help them a lot. With the Pelicans, I don't know what you go out and get. You know, it's like people are not big on Lonzo Ball, but he works for the offense. He works for the defense. And it's like he works for what they do. And you know, if you want to get younger, like I think the only thing the Pelicans could use is some depth. You know, if you want to move JJ Redick, you know, and get some depth, but besides that, it's like JJ Redick, he at the end of his career, and yeah, he can, you know, get you and stretch the floor. But I mean, what you about to get back for JJ Redick for that to matter on a team trying to get it together? I think the Pelicans, I mean, it sounds simple enough, but the Pelicans just need to play better. It's like they're slower rotations. They're not consistent with defense down the stretch. It's like they start off good, you know, many players do good things. You know, Zion, he's slow to some rotations, but there's spurts where he's really good in rotations. You know, Josh Hart is really solid. But they're not experienced enough to be consistent. You know, so that's why you would look at a team like that, you know, and be like they have all the pieces, but the reason why they don't have it together is just they're not experienced enough. I like Jason Hayes. He's athletic, but he's small. He wants to play on the inside, but he's small. He gonna get abused every time, and he gets abused every time. So you gotta take him out of the game. You know, same thing for what's the rookie? Kyra Lewis or whatever his name is. He's solid at the guard position. He's really small. So again, same thing. He's getting abused. You know, so it's just really about experience, I think. I don't really think they need to go make any moves because if you're not going to get nothing like that's going to help you right now in return, it don't really matter.
All right. And what's your thoughts about it, John Rich?
Oh yeah, man. The Pelicans in a funny spot because like you look at the roster and you be like, damn, they got the pieces. Then you look at them play and you be like, damn, the pieces just ain't doing what you thought they would do. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they got the, like I said, they got the makeup to be an unstoppable offensive team and a very good defensive team. And it just don't pan out, man. I mean, Zion still got his learning curves as far as the coverages and rotations and all that. And we saw who he was at Duke and the type of plays that he can make on defense. And I think that eventually once he get past that learning curve, he'll get to that stage where he can start making those type of plays. So I mean, it's definitely a hindrance with him. I mean, that's definitely his weak point, is defense now. But I mean, everybody else on the roster, man, you look at him and you be like, dude, y'all should be better than y'all are defensively with this team that y'all have. I mean, y'all got Steven Adams, who probably the strongest man since Shaq. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got Eric Bledsoe, who was once an all defensive player. Ingram is not a bad defensive guy at all. Even JJ Redick has been a solid defender for his whole career. And people don't even think defense when they think JJ Redick, but he's never been a slouch on defense. And he mentioned Hayes and all the other cats. Josh Hart is not a. I mean, it's just you got the pieces. It's just not working for some reason. And you have a coach that's a defensive coach, and it's just weird. But as far as the moves, man, is the NBA is funny, bro. Is one of those leagues where if you ain't making moves, then you ain't trying to win almost, and it's almost like you don't want to keep them together and just hope it comes together, because it probably won't, And so it's like it's almost like you need to make a move just to try to light a spark on the team and just find something different. I know a lot of people have been throwing Lonzo name in the trade hat, JJ Redick name in the trade hat or buyout hat. I'm actually a fan of Lonzo, bro. Like, I know he ain't been what people thought he would be. I'm a fan of him. I think he still just hasn't been able to be on a roster where he can just be the point guard and just him. He don't have to share those duties with nobody. Like, he is the bona fide point guard. Nobody else is. That's my role, because I think that's the role he needs to be in. Whereas I'm running offense. Y'all don't need me to try to spot up and shoot or score 20 on a given night. I just need to set people up, run my offense, play my defense, and that's that. So I mean, if a move had to be made, I would actually look at Bledsoe and not Ball. Lonzo with Ingram and Zion, man, that's a trio you can keep for a long time. All them dudes young, all of them nice. They still growing, man. I mean, Bi and Zion, y'all see what they can do already, and they still growing. Lonzo just hasn't been able to play in his role that he needs to be in yet. I think that can be a hell of a trio. So I would actually look at moving Bledsoe and bringing in a real two, like a real slasher, a real shooter, somebody that way. And I mean, they throwing JJ name in the hat because of the contract and the age and stuff like that. And with his skill set, you can get some things from him, because I mean, shooters are valued high in this league, so you can get a decent little return from him. So on that GM side of that, or looking at what you can get back. That's another name that you can definitely put in there. But yeah, I mean, definitely they would need them if they were looking to make the playoffs this year or even next year. They would definitely need to make some type of move instead of just trying to grind it out with the roster that they have. I mean, you're looking at the Mavs are underperforming right now, so that's another team that's really above you, that's kind of playing at the same level that you are, but really they shouldn't be. I mean, it's still in this little COVID year and stuff. I mean, stuff is still weird right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's a year that you should be taking advantage of, and it's not happening. So definitely some type of move would need to be made if they want to make that next step of being a playoff team and start contending within the playoffs, and not just be, a scrape in and get bounced first round in 4-5 games. You know what I'm saying? A cat that I would actually would have loved to see land in New Orleans, that, I mean, it was a far stretch, was Bogdanovic, man. I'd have loved to see if he could have landed there. I mean, it was a stretch for him to make it there, but if he could have got there, I think that would have opened up that team a whole lot.
Or that went to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Atlanta? Oh, no, it's not. Oh, I'm thinking about the wrong one. All right.
Oh yeah, no. Oh, hey,
That's
they
like-
boy
that's like-
Utah? What's that cat name? Utah?
Yeah, they got the same last name. So
Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
Opan and Bogdan.
he would have been a good pickup, and he would have he would have played, I guess, essentially the JJ Redick role, except younger, so he's able to move around better. I say that, but he ain't played in Atlanta currently because he hurt. It's
Yeah,
like so, it's
yeah,
like it sounds good on paper, and he would have been fine. But then if he would have been able to pull that off, and he would have been hurt, now you look at it like, damn,
yeah, yeah,
man.
still, yeah,
It's like, and to your point about Bledsoe, Bledsoe is probably the most logical person to get moved because I think he might be on an expiring contract. If not, he's the older player out the two. So you move on from that player because he's on an expiring contract. He's the older player. He still has value. It's just he's not the two guard that you like. You need to have somebody you can grow with your star core players. And I think the league that we're in currently is a win now league. We started seeing that like maybe like 2010, where and I think it's more so the brainchild of Pat Riley, where Pat Riley figured out what worked for LeBron. Like LeBron needs shooters, so we go get shooters, and we go get shooters who don't need big contracts, but they're willing to come here to win. So that way, if we don't win, we can move off of those players
yep,
the next year, and we can do it again, and we can do it again, and we can do it again. So it's a win now league. So you seen it when they linked up in Miami. They got shooters. They got some shooters. They didn't win the first year, so they shuffled the roster the next year. They won it, but they was like, we could play better. Let's get some more shooters. So they went out and got some more shooters. Then they didn't win it the year after that. So, okay, now we got all that we had. They're now aging out the NBA. The Shane Battiers, the Ray Allens, the Mike Millers. We don't have the same shooters. Now we have a new crop of shooters. Okay, so what works? So now it's a win now league. So nobody wants to wait for teams to develop, And so I think that's people's biggest issue with Golden State. Golden State waited. It's just they made the big splash with Kevin Durant, but they didn't make any big moves before then. They free agency signings with players that nobody wanted. Sean Livingston, Andre Iguodala, they had David Lee that won the championship the first go around. It's like they got a bunch of players that they drafted and a bunch of players nobody wanted. Barbosa and stuff like that. And so when they went and got Kevin Durant, they were like, oh, that's unfair. No. That's how the NBA is supposed to go. You're supposed to build your team, and then when you got the cap space, you go for the big star. That's how teams are supposed to be built. You go for the big star when they become available. The problem is a lot of these teams, you pay your star players all this money, and you try to make little small moves and hope that it pan out one of those years. And if not, then we shuffle it all together. James Harden and the Rockets, they did the same thing. We go keep paying James Harden. We go keep paying James Harden. We go keep doing this person. We go keep adding this person. It's not working. It's not working. But we go keep paying James Harden every year and every other year. I think he got his stitches every 2 years the whole time he was in Houston. So
Yeah.
we go
yeah,
paying James Harden, and we're gonna keep getting these players. And it's crazy because they got some big name players that end up in Houston, like Dwight Howard. But when Dwight Howard went there, Dwight Howard was getting paid a lot. He wasn't a big name, a big paycheck player that was there. They got him on a discount, and he was still producing. But a team like Golden State, they didn't have to worry about paying people every year because they were still playing the players that they drafted, and so they had a bunch of cap room when Kevin Durant became available. They were like, "Oh shit!"
Steph Curry was just making like $10 million a year, I think.
yeah. It was real
Right,
low. It was real
right.
low.
Steph Curry didn't get that big check until what 2016. It's like,
It
and the way they spaced it out was nobody was getting paid a lot of money at the same time. So even when Klay Thompson got paid the first time, he wasn't getting paid the same time Draymond Green. So
yeah,
Draymond Green got paid, and then Klay Thompson contract came up again, and then Draymond Green contract came up again. And so Boom. Now everybody's able to get paid. So what people kept saying, oh man, they won't be able to keep this. Well, yes, they can. Because who else are they playing? Who else are they paying?
Yeah.
So I mean, it worked. And now the people that they're paying money to, like Andrew Wiggins, is like he's young. He can grow with the team. So the person that you're paying money to now is a player that a position of need because Kevin Durant left. So now you need a small forward. You just need somebody to play and can play big minutes. It don't matter what they do. They can work.
And a good thing about them with Wiggins is they know they'll never have to match that contract Wiggins got again. Like he got overpaid by Minnesota, so they know they'll never have to match that again. So I mean, I think that was a big land for them with getting Wiggins, man. I mean, you kind of biting the bullet with his contract now. You know, he kind of overpaid, but as soon as that's out, he gonna get paid what he worked. He not gonna be
But
overpaid again in that
by
market.
the time,
People kind of see what
by the
he is, but
time paid
I
again,
feel like what's up?
by the time he get paid again, he go get paid good money. But this time, Golden State go make him worth it
Oh
because
yeah,
you
yeah,
see
yeah, yeah,
what
yeah,
Golden
yeah.
State is doing with for him now. Like he
He's
was
playing
a
in
decent player, but now
he
those stats mean something.
and the stats mean something, and he's in a role that he should have been had. I
Yep.
think he's in the role that if Cleveland would have never traded him, the role he would have been in instead of going to Minnesota and now I got to be that dude in Minnesota from out the gate. Whereas I can be that wing player, I can just slash, I can play off of somebody else, which is
Right.
that's really his skill set. He plays off of other people, whereas in Minnesota he's that dude, and when you're in the NBA now, if you my guy, you got to have the ball. That's just how the NBA is coached now, you know. And he's not that I got to have the ball from the get go type player. You know, I got to play off somebody else. I'm gonna play good defense because I mean that was one of his high praises is that he would be an elite defender when he got to the league. But you send him to Minnesota, and I gotta be the only person who could even score 15 on the team until Cat came. You know, I can't be the elite defender y'all want me to be. Whereas I think in Golden State now, you know, he's not elite. I wouldn't say he's elite yet, but give him a year or two, I think he can become that elite defender that people thought that he would be whenever he was drafted. Definitely.
Top seven, he a big pro.
All right. Uh, so we're gonna move on to the next topic, y'all. John Rich, I'm gonna definitely start with you on this one. So we got two players. We got one player. He's better than the other player when we talk about scoring and we talk about playmaking. Talking about CJ McCollum. Now we got another player that's on the same team. He's a little better shooter, but he plays way better defense. Now you put both of those players next to Dame Leonard. Now you're a Blazers fan. So this is a real important question I'm about to ask you. As Portland is currently constructed with Dame Leonard in a backcourt, who would you rather playing next to Dame Leonard? CJ McCollum or Gary Trent Jr.?
Man. Look, bro, this is gonna hurt to tell the truth, man. Like I told you, it's gonna hurt to tell the truth, but with the way the team is now, and I'm not gonna even say with the way the team is now, with the way Dame is, because you know Dame not going nowhere. The way Dame is unfortunate, but Gary Trent is a better fit for Dame. CJ and Dame, you essentially got the same dude on the court, except one is a little more athletic than the other. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got the same skill set as far as playing off a pick and roll. CJ is a little more of a ISO type player rather than Dame. Dame is off a pick and roll. I mean, he deadly off the pick and roll. Whereas CJ could kind of play more ISO and kind of work his way to that mid range. But you know, they both 6'2" ish, 6'3" ish, 180 ish, and can't guard their own shadow on a good day. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, you know, for the last 3-4 years, we've really been playing a I ain't gonna stop you, but you ain't gonna stop me, and we gonna see who got the most points at the end of the night. And if the shot not falling, you know, or if I'm running to a Rondo and Drew Holiday type defensive tandem that can slow me down, is you know I really got no hope in beating you. And yeah, man, I think seeing the run that Portland has gone on once Gary Trent got put into that starting lineup, and even the past years when Gary Trent got a lot of playing time, the runs that Portland go on, I think it's kind of showing that the team is better suited as far as Dame it goes. As long as you're gonna have Dame running that ship, it's better suited with having another, a bigger guard who can play off the ball really. Because I mean, CJ plays off the ball by default because Dame is there, but CJ is a combo guard at the same time too. The same type of player Dame is. But having another guard that can play off the ball, defend the best wing defender. I mean, I remember last year they had Gary Trent guarding LeBron the whole game, and I was like, man, this is about to be a massacre. But then he got out there and he was getting at it. And I was like, okay. I was like, okay, I see you, my brother, So having that type of dude on side Dame, I think, is better suited. I mean, is Gary Trent on the team? So is his role. I would say I don't want to slight my dog because he playing real good. But I mean, if I can find somebody with that skill set who's a little better than Gary Trent, then yeah, But now I will say with putting him there, we would have to find more scoring from our front court, definitely. And right now that's been inconsistent. I mean, it kind of been somebody show up here and there. Canna has kind of been a surprise for us this year. Filling in for Nurk when Nurk got hurt. Nurk wasn't who we thought he was going to be at the beginning of the year. He was just inconsistent. I don't know if it was just from the time missed and just the flow of things, but he just, it just wasn't hitting this year for some reason. Melo, I know Melo, your dog. He went on a nice run. He went on a nice run the last week. But man, hey, at the beginning of the season and all that, Melo, I was looking at Melo like, hey, man.
I was worried too. I was like, man, this year might be his last year.
Yeah, I was looking like, hey, man, look, bro. You know what I'm saying? But I think Melo has kind of become that player where now, he never going to be terrible, but any given day, he might just light it up for you. So he's like that dude who you're going to put in. At the end of the day, he is a proven vet. It's a solid body. He actually became better defensively late in his career for some reason. I guess he's using his size a little more now and just putting his weight on people. But at this point, we kind of know what we're gonna get from Melo. We either gonna get a little 10-point horrible shooting game, or we might light it up for 20. You know what I'm saying? And kind of got to take what you get. So definitely, I think is the Dame and CJ experiment has kind of ridden as far as long as that can ride. It's time to find the same situation on the Pelicans. We kind of see what's happening. It ain't working. We got to make a move instead of just riding here and just settling for a first or second round appearance. If you want to get past that, something got to shake. We know Dame ain't going nowhere. Dame gonna go where he want to go. You know what I'm saying? So it's by default it's just gonna have to be CJ. It's
funny. I was talking about somebody in the group. I was like, man, we might have to trade CJ McCollum. He was like, yeah, trade him for Bradley Beal. I was like, why?
Hey, as a Blazer fan, I'll take it.
Bradley Beal is like a CJ McCollum. I mean, basically a CJ McCollum that scored more points. That's what I think.
That's how I would take it. Like if we're gonna do what we're doing, I might as well do it at a higher level. You know what I'm saying?
So,
I'll take it.
I 100% agree with you. That's why I wanted to see if we was having the same mind frame. What made me notice it was the game when Dame was out when we played Philly. What made me notice Gary Trent, his defense, and he was able to step in game Dame role and
score.
And then I started watching more games, and then the game last night, I was like Gary Trent is like he's more of a perfect complementary player to Dame, like how Clay is to Steph. Not the exact same way, but I'm just saying as far as complementing each other. Don't get me wrong. I think CJ McCollum is better. I think he's better, and I think CJ McCollum could go somewhere and be the number one scoring option on a team. But as far as being a complementary player, I don't think he'll probably compliment somewhere like how Devin Booker compliment Chris Paul.
Chris Paul.
You know?
That was actually my first thought. CJ and Paul would be crazy together.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But
They would be crazy.
I think Gary Trent a better complimentary player. What's your thoughts on it, Jared?
The answer is Gary Trent, and it's kind of obvious that the answer is Gary Trent that works better with Damian Lillard, but it's partially, and I say fault for lack of a better term, but it's partially Portland as a whole fault, and it's partially Damian Lillard's fault that Gary Trent is the better fit. Because you look at a player like Damian Lillard, and you know Damian Lillard, that's the team. You know, he's the team, he's the central focus, he's not going anywhere. His playing style is what it is, it's not going anywhere. And that's fine if you have the right personnel. A player's playing style works if you have the right personnel. It's not a problem unless they keep losing. Now Portland keeps losing. So you start to wonder, okay, is it a personnel issue? Is it a playing style issue? So you look at a player like Kevin Durant, and when Kevin Durant first went to Golden State, before they ever played the single game together, all the reports, all the media outlets was like, oh, it won't work. It won't work. He's a volume shooter, blah, blah, blah. And my whole thought process was like, Kevin Durant for his career has never been a volume shooter by present day definition of what a volume shooter is. He could shoot the ball a lot, but he never needed to shoot the ball a lot. So when you go to a team who two biggest stars don't need the ball to score, you know, Klay Thompson, a spot-up shooter, he can hit it from anywhere. Steph Curry moves so well without the ball that he doesn't need the ball to be effective, even though he's a point guard. And you bring in a player like Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is a very efficient jump shooter. If you got a person who doesn't need a lot of shots to score, he's pretty much plug and play wherever you put him. But then on the flip side of it, you got a player like Russell Westbrook, who is an athletic guard and is a hell of an athlete, but he's not a plug and play player because he's not an efficient scorer. So you look at him in Washington, it's not efficient. It doesn't work all the time because, well, we can target a player like Russell Westbrook because he can't shoot. So the same way they target Ben Simmons in the playoffs because we know you're not going to take the shot. So with CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard is a point guard who scores a lot. That's been his calling card. He can launch it from anywhere. He will launch it from anywhere. Scoring is his thing. That's not saying he can't assist the ball because he had 14 against the
16.
16.
Like, so he went for 40 and 16 assists. So yeah, he could definitely assist the ball. However, that's not what he does on a normal basis. So because that's not what he does on a normal basis, you can't have another player who is also a volume scorer or needs the ball to shoot to be effective like CJ McCollum. CJ McCollum is no assist man. So if he's not a facilitator and Damian Lillard's first thing is not to facilitate, then having those two in the back doesn't work. Gary Trent doesn't necessarily need the ball to be effective. So because he doesn't need the ball to be effective, he can play off Damian Lillard doing what Damian Lillard does the same way, like you said, Klay Thompson can do it. You know, a player that doesn't need the ball can play with a player like Damian Lillard. Because Damian Lillard in the backcourt, you can only really be effective with two types of players. It's either you could be effective with another guard that don't need the ball to be effective, or you could be effective with a guard who facilitates the ball first. So he can play the shooting guard role. I think you see a lot of that in Brooklyn right now. James Harden played a style of basketball in Houston that made James Harden a lot of money. It made James Harden a perennial all-star. It made James Harden top 5 in MVP voting every year he was in Houston. However, Every time they got to the playoffs, he looked really good some rounds, and when it mattered, his playing style never changed. So, you can blame the personnel, but the reason why the personnel is there is because James Harden was playing a certain way. So, if that's the case, we got to put people around you that works for your playing style. And so, you look at how he went to Brooklyn. James Harden is nowhere close to the same type of player. James Harden is passing up shots that James Harden has taken for the last 8 years that he would have made for all those 8 years. He's passing up those shots to look for better shots, to get assists. He's in the first couple of games where he was getting 15, 16 assists before Kyrie Irving and all them started playing together, he had a lot of turnovers. In these last several games, he don't even have as many turnovers as he used to James Harden had it. He's not taking as many free throws because he's not looking for the contact. He's looking to facilitate the ball. And James Harden, I'm glad, made the realization when he got to Houston, when he got to Brooklyn, that I'm a volume shooter while I'm in Brooklyn. While I'm in Houston. Kyrie Irving is already in Brooklyn as a volume shooter. I can't go there and be a volume shooter. It won't work. Somebody has to be a facilitator. It wasn't going to be Kyrie Irving because Kyrie Irving has never shown to be a facilitator. He can't pass the ball, but same thing with Damian Lillard. He's not a facilitator first. James Harden showed at least in the last 4 years he can facilitate in Houston. It's just he chose to be a volume scorer. So if you know you can get big assist numbers, then go on here and do that. If you know your points gonna come anyway, because he's not lacking for points in Brooklyn. It's just he's not I'm gonna shoot 50 shots a game and score 50 points. I can get you 25 a game, but I can also give you double digit assists. That's a better winning formula. I like that. I like that type of James Harden in the playoffs than Houston James Harden. Same way with Damian Lillard. I'm not asking Damian Lillard to change his style of play because I don't think it's in him to do it, and I don't think he should. But if you understand that, then CJ McCollum can't be your other guard. You got to get somebody that plays on the ball or is a facilitator and can get the ball to Damian Lillard. And if that's the case, you need more scoring from the other three positions. Nurkic has to be more consistent, and that's far as finishing and staying on the court. I don't know what's the boy name? Damian Jones, whoever the dude name that started. And
Derrick Jones Jr.
Damian Jones. I don't know what he does. I don't know what he's good at.
Dunk.
Because he's young.
Dunk. He can dunk. Real nice.
He's not a good defender. He's not even really a big scorer. Like, he's young and he's athletic. He looks small to be playing the forward position at all. And I understand why you don't start Carmelo Anthony. However, I would consider starting Carmelo Anthony and have Jones play the quote-unquote starter minutes and then Carmelo Anthony finish games. Because at what point are we looking at Derrick Jones like, okay, you can dunk, but what are you giving me consistent? What else are you doing for me? Especially in the absence of Nurkic in the middle, it's like I need scoring somewhere else. Where is it coming from? Is it coming from Covington? Is it coming from Jones? Where is scoring besides Damian Lillard while CJ McCollum is out? And even with CJ McCollum there, you got Gary Trent coming off the bench instead. Where is the other scoring coming from? It has to be doing something. And so I think from that standpoint, if you're set with your personnel, you're good with your personnel, then you have to move on from Damian Lillard. From CJ McCollum. Just because you like what Damian Lillard is giving you. But if that's the case, if you go Gary Trent, understand Gary Trent right now is earning himself a lot of money. So you have to pay him for one, and you got to do something with your personnel.
to make it more consistent. You got to find more scoring in the front court if you go, lack some things in the back court.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, man, I had I was actually was at practice today early, man. I was talking to the other coach. He actually brought us something good. He was saying, man, if John Collins really don't like it in Atlanta with Trae Young, and he knowing I'm a Portland fan, he was like, just for even swap as far as talent and all that, and he didn't know the contract situation and all that. He was saying, man, Atlanta and Portland could look at some type of package that could flip Collins and CJ. You know what I'm saying? I was like, nah. As far as Atlanta, I don't pay attention to them too much. I don't know. That might give Atlanta the same problem as Portland got with CJ and Trae Young. Now, I ain't gonna. It's gonna be a hell of a shooting backcourt now. They're gonna be firing that thing up there, but it might give them the same perimeter defensive issues. But I know that they have better post defenders too and wing defenders than Portland has. Whereas Portland we weak defending the backcourt, and we also not great defending the front court. We ain't terrible defending the front court, but we're not great by no means. Very middle of the road, and then bottom of the road with the guards, which make it a bottom of the road defensive team altogether. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. Like I said, bro, it really hurt my heart to say it, man, because I've been riding with CJ for a long time, man. Man, I've been riding with CJ because I'm a Duke fan. Ever since CJ beat Duke, I was like, hey, man, I like that dude. Then whenever he came to Portland, I was like, okay, yeah. We wouldn't even play him. I'm like, hey, bro, man, we need to play that man. You know what I'm saying? Then whenever the playoffs came,
Y'all started Wesley Matthews.
You know what I'm saying? Now, I forgot who ended up getting hurt, and he had to play in the playoffs, and he went off. Man. I'm like, okay, yeah, I like that dude. You know what I'm saying? Then he been who he is now ever since then. You know what I'm saying? But playing him on side names just ain't it, man. It just it ain't a recipe for winning. It's a recipe for selling tickets and getting on TV and having people like, yeah, I like Portland, but it ain't a recipe for winning, man.
All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and end that topic there. We're gonna move on to the next topic. I want to get y'all top 3 MVPs right now. I'm gonna go ahead and go first to start it off to give y'all some time to think. But at first, I ain't gonna lie, I had LeBron 1. I had LeBron 1 because obviously I seen a lot of Lakers games. They come on, watch them. He LeBron, the media behind him and everything. But when I looked into the numbers, I said, well, I'm not big on Donovan Mitchell right now. Even though Utah got the number 1 seed and people trying to throw Donovan Mitchell name out there, I don't even think Donovan Mitchell right now the MVP of his team. I think Rudy Gobert is.
Yep.
So if I don't have Donovan Mitchell at number 1, I can't have LeBron at number 1. I just can't.
That's right. It is right. That's right.
He not even top 10 in scoring. He not top 10 in assists. Not top 10 in steals. Obviously not blocks, not rebounds. I think he's number 10 in assists. I think he is number 10.
He right at 10.
But top 10 in anything else, he's not even top 10 in. So why would I put him number 1? Right now, my number 1 is Dame Leonard. I got Dame time number 1. I got Curry number 2. Then I got LeBron number 3. But the reason I got Dame and Curry 1 and 2 is because, man, them dudes just like me and Jad, we was just debating in a group. Like he was for Steph, I was for Dame. I mean, I don't think you can go wrong with either one. I don't think you go wrong with either one. But for me, I'm gonna go Dame because there's the fact that what he's doing, man, he elevating his team to another level. And what he said after a game, and what I was trying to tell to Cal Rip, he was trying to tell me only thing Dame do better than Westbrook is shoot the ball. I said, let me tell you what Dame said after a game. He said, I'm the leader of this team. If I gotta score buckets, I'm gonna score buckets. If I gotta help Garrett Trent Jr. get off, I'm gonna help him get off. If I gotta take a back seat to Melo while he go off, I'm gonna take a back seat. That's what I like to hear. And he averaging close to 30, he averaging 7 assists. He leading the team. He got the second to most threes in the NBA after Steph. But yeah, I got Dame. The thing that put Dame above Steph to me is the team record. I mean, Steph having he didn't have Draymond. What's that rookie name that's injured now?
Wiseman.
Wiseman, he's out. He got him in playoff condition. I mean, the West is tough right now. I mean, Portland is 19-10 or 18-10. They 18-10. They'll be a half game behind Philly right now, and Philly the number 1 seed. you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So and Golden State, they 2 games above 500 in the tough West. The West is probably the toughest it's been since Denver won 50 games and was an 8 seed.
Yeah.
And the West is that's how tough the West is right now. So I got Dame, I got Steph, then I got LeBron. I'm gonna go with you first on this one, Jared.
Okay. I don't have LeBron's number 1. Now I know people in the group go watch this message like I'm the biggest LeBron hater. I'm gonna take the award for biggest LeBron hater for this particular time. However, the same way I'm gonna use the LeBron James fans and the media outlets, LeBron apologists reasoning for why LeBron is not number 1. At the base, the same reason why nobody wanted to give votes to Curry and Kevin Durant for the 3 years that they was at Golden State together. They can't see each other out. Does LeBron and Anthony Davis not cancel each other out? It was the same way that last year people was like, oh man, it's definitely LeBron. But they waited too late because at that point, Giannis is already running away with it. But from the standpoint of that, Anthony Davis cancels him out. Like y'all was listening to the things that he's not top in. Anthony Davis leads the team in probably most of those categories, probably only 9 assists. That's probably the only stat that Anthony Davis does the same way as last year. Nothing changed.
LeBron leading in points this year. LeBron is leading in points this year.
Down points. We get to that. That's a whole other thing. But it's so LeBron's not number 1 to me because Anthony Davis should cancel him out. Like the same way, just for the sake of argument, the same way everybody else been saying such and such star player, cancel him out. My number 1 is Curry. And like you said, it's like, if you want to say Dame, I'm all for hearing arguments for Dame. Because again, the numbers back it up. Same way Curry numbers back it up. That's my number 1. My number 2 is Kevin Durant. Because he's not supposed to be doing the same thing he was doing before injury. And doing it just as efficiently, if not better, in some regards and certain stats, after coming off 10 years Achilles. It's not supposed to be possible. People be like, well, LeBron James is 36. Congratulations. He hasn't had any major injuries, which, again, big ups to him. That's great. But he hasn't had any major injuries. Kevin Durant, 32, coming off a major injury that's supposed to end his career. That's supposed to, at the very least, limit what he can do coming back by significantly. People say it's supposed to limit him significantly. And not only is it not limiting him, it's almost like he's even better. Like, he's been this type of player. He's been this efficient. It's almost like he's even better. And my number 3, my number 3 kind of rounds off to whoever you pick as number 1 or 2. So if you want to be like, well, Steph Curry over Dame, then now I got to hear an argument between Dame and Kevin Durant. The same way if you put Dame as number 1, I got to hear an argument between Curry and Kevin Durant. Those are my 3 players because the numbers back them up. They are the main driving force to their team. They're winning when they're on the court. They're not as good off the court. And I wonder, and as as an alternate three, I also say Joel Embiid, but the only reason why I put him as a bottom third is just because of the reasoning why these other players are ahead of him. I appreciate the fact that Joel Embiid is healthy for the most part, and the numbers that he's putting up healthy are great. But the arguments for Durant coming off of Achilles, Steph Curry playing with a bunch of players hurt, and Dame playing with a bunch of players hurt, I think makes the argument for those players over Embiid just a little bit better, and that's why I put Embiid as an alternate third to fourth player. But those players in my top three, I'm welcome. And by the way, no Anthony Davis with no Kevin Durant against Brooklyn, and Brooklyn is waxing the Lakers right now. So that's your MVP, guys.
Okay, before I get to you, Jerry, I think Kevin Durant the best player in the NBA right now. I honestly do. I think he's the best player in the NBA. I think on your point earlier when you was talking about Golden State, Kevin Durant, I think is one player in NBA history where you could plug him in any offensive system and he's gonna fit right in. He's gonna fit right in. Like LeBron, he has to have the system built around him. Kevin Durant, you could put him in the system or he could be the system. That's why I think Kevin Durant is one of the greatest offensive players ever. And I think that's why he's the best player in the league. But I couldn't put him in top 3 MVP because he only played 19 games.
Yeah.
I mean, when you only play 19 games, that takes away from it. Like if you would play 25 games, Kevin Durant would be number 1 easy.
I think it takes away from a regular season, but for the fact that the bulk of his game has been missed because of COVID and not because of injury, I think it plays a lesser role this year when it comes to vote. It's like that's why you don't put players like Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, who putting out really good numbers on a good team, but they're not MVP conversation because they're missing games for, pain management type things. Kevin Durant missed 4 games for COVID protocols, and he didn't even have it. Somebody he was in contact with, and they pulled him halfway through a game and still said, "Hey, never mind. You're gonna miss the next 3 games too." So yeah, just because the protocols are bad, I think they not gonna count that too much against him. But any other season, had he pain management, anything, like if he came off this Achilles injury in a regular season and they like, oh, he's working on his calf and it's tight right now. I mean, I understand it, but I can't keep it in the conversation if you leaving games because of pain management. I need you on the floor. But because of half of them because of pain, not because of pain management, I let that one slide, but I understand the argument.
All right, John Rich, who you got?
All right. So for my number 1, I actually got Joel Embiid for my number 1 for MVP right now. I mean, he putting up some crazy numbers right now. Well, I think he's averaging right under 30 a game. He's at 10, 11 rebounds a game, shooting over 50 from the field, shooting right at around 40 from 3. But even just watching him, like when you watch the games, man, he like Philly goes as Joel Embiid goes. I know a lot of the talk is about Ben Simmons holding them back and all that, and I start looking at the games and it's like, no matter what Ben Simmons doing, Philly goes as Joel Embiid goes. Ben Simmons could be having a terrible game. You know what I'm saying? If Joel Embiid doing what he supposed to do, Philly going at the minimum compete until the last couple of possessions. And it's just, I mean, it's just like he dominates games now on both ends of the floor. Because I mean, he's not a great pick and roll defender, but he puts himself in the right spot to still defend the shot. Whereas if you're gonna beat him on pick and rolls and stuff like that, you're gonna beat him from the outside. You're gonna have to pull up jumpers. He puts himself. I mean, he hedges screens perfectly. He puts himself in the right spot. You can't move him on the block at all. So I mean, he's the anchor for him offensively. He's the anchor for him defensively. He'll go to work on anybody. He don't care who guarding him. He don't care who it is. He gonna go to work on you, and even if you do a good job, he gonna still find a good shot. I mean, he's playing lights out, and like Jared said earlier, he's staying on the floor this year. That's what's good for him. He's staying on the floor this year, and I mean, he always had MVP talent. He always had those capabilities. He just couldn't be on the floor, and he's staying on the floor this year. Philly is #1 in the East. You know, with Boston inconsistencies, Milwaukee inconsistencies, they look like the favorites in the East right now. And I got Joel Embiid as my #1. My #2, I had to do it, man. Normally, I'd be like, nah, bro. If you ain't winning, you can't be in this conversation. But with the Joker doing this shit, dog, man, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy. That's like some Westbrook type stuff. It's like some Westbrook type stuff when he averaged a triple double. I think he only about 2 assists away from averaging a triple double. I mean, a center that's 5th in the league in assists, while shooting over 50 from the field, shooting 40 from 3. I think he's top 10 in scoring. I don't know if he top 5 in rebounds, but he up there in rebounds too. He might be around 6 or 7 or something like that. We all know he ain't the greatest dude on the defensive end, but it is what it is. You got to do so much on the offensive side. I can't even expect you to do that. But I was looking at it the other day, man, at the numbers, and y'all know I'm not a big fan of plus minus and box score plus minus all that. I'm not a big fan of it because it don't tell the whole story of who was on the floor, when they was on the floor. But when you kind of midway through the season and you looking at it, and we talking about a starter, not a bench player who come in against other bench players and might light it up against them. Though we talking about a starter playing against starters. You know what I'm saying? And the dude plus minus is over 11. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy, bro. That's it. When you on the floor, you outscoring the other team by 11 points, but y'all losing because the rest of your team is some trash. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, man, like I can't even put that on you, bro. You plus 11. The next closest to him is, I want to say, Embiid or Giannis at like 7. So, bro, you a full 4 points over the next closest man to you in plus minus in the whole league. That's crazy. He's the highest in win shares. I want to say right at about 30%, and I think Dame is second at like 25%. So you a whole 5% over the next person in win shares. It's like you literally carrying your team to anything that they accomplish, to even be remotely competitive. It's all because of you. It ain't nobody else. I mean, people want to crown Jamal Murray as the next point guard and all that stuff early. And I was like, hey, Murray, what you doing for me, though? You know what I'm saying? I mean, so strictly off of numbers and the impact that he has for his team, I got Jokic too. I know he's not going to win it if his team not winning games and not, I mean, I think right now they're even out the playoffs right now. So I know he wouldn't win it, but I mean, if I had to vote 1, 2, and 3, he'd get my 2 just off of everything that he's. I mean, it's nothing more than you can ask from him. If I lose a game, we in the locker room, I can't even look at him. I just gotta look at everybody else. It's kind of like those little Facebook skits that old boy do for LeBron. Whenever Cleveland would lose, and he'll do the little crazy skits of LeBron fussing at everybody in the locker room. Like Jokic could really do that this year. Just go in and fuss at the whole locker room. You know what I'm saying? And my #3, I got Dame as my #3, and for all the reasons that y'all said earlier, man. I mean, he's the whole engine for Portland right now, fighting through all the injuries. I mean, he's doing everything that he has to do for Portland to continue winning games. And that's if he has to be the scorer. If I got to go get 30, 40, I'm going to get my 30, 40. If I got to let Trent cook while Trent cooking or Melo cook while he cooking, I'm going to let them cook. And so, I mean, it's a night in and night out. He's taking a different approach towards the game. I mean, I feel like he's gotten even better from last year when I felt like last year he might have hit like his peak. I think last year he was out of this world. And I was like, okay, look, Dame can't get no better than what he's doing. And then this year is like, damn, Dame got even better from last year. You know what I'm saying? So definitely what he's bringing to the table for Portland, kind of the same thing for Jokic. I mean, he's doing whatever Portland needs him to do for them to remain competitive and win games with all the injuries that he's dealing with right now. And that difference between him and Curry is about as small as a difference that you can get. If the Warriors had more wins, I'd put Curry in that spot over Dame. You know, just because Portland got more wins right now, I'd put Dame there. You know, if the Warriors pass up Portland, Dame got to go down one. I got to put Curry up one. And believe it or not, bro, I don't even have Brown in my top 5 this year, man. It's crazy. I don't even have Brown in my top. And y'all know I'm a Brown dude, bro. But for the reasons Jared said, man, is, you know, if they was gonna knock Curry and KD the past couple of years because they was together, like, how can I give that to Brian when I got a dude that's just as good as me, that's doing everything that I do? You know what I'm saying? It almost seemed contradictory to even put him in the MVP category. Now we know talent wise and impact wise, yeah, he is there. But if we gonna keep it consistent on how they vote for it and all that stuff, it's kind of hard to even put Bron in that top 5, man. When you got Curry, Dame, and you still got Giannis, who got the same numbers he had from last year. So how can he not be in the conversation? You know what I'm saying?
He never gonna win it again.
I think people got tired of Giannis. Like, all right, Giannis, we know you can do that. We just want to see you win some playoff games now. And it was kind of the argument that Bron had, man. You know, after he left Miami, it was like, look, Brown, we know you can do that. We need to see something different now. We know you gonna be that dude. You're gonna. It's just it's crazy how the people vote for it now, man. They kind of get tired of people being so successful, and they just want somebody else to win it. I got my little theory that they don't want nobody to catch Jordan and Kareem on them MVPs, but it is what it is on that one.
So, Jordan could have had about 7 or 8 of them, though.
Oh yeah. Jordan could have had about 10 of them. Every scoring title he had, Jordan could have had the MVP.
Jordan averaged 32 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, and 2 steals. They gave it to Matt. Matt averaged 19 and 12. He averaged 19 and 12. And they gave it to him over Jordan. Come on now.
Yeah.
Hey, but look, for my last topic, we're just going to do something random. Just think of anything that's going on in the sports world. Anything that, how we did it last time, General Rich, just anything that's on your mind about the sports world. I'm going to go first to let y'all think. I'm going to talk about my dog, Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers, he get held to a high standard, not because of what he do with the numbers and everything. It's because he playing at the same time with Tom Brady. I think if you take Tom Brady and act like he don't exist, Aaron Rodgers would probably be looked at as the GOAT. The reason because, I mean, when you got 3 MVPs, when you got over 400 touchdowns, under 90 interceptions, when you carrying the Green Bay franchise, I mean, I think people look at him like, oh, he 1-4 in an NFC Championship game. Like, okay, he 1-4, but he do have a Super Bowl, just like Drew Brees. You can't take that one Super Bowl just because a quarterback only got 1 Super Bowl doesn't mean it takes away that they just got one. Like Dan Marino doesn't have any, but I'm taking Dan Marino as my quarterback over Troy Aikman, over Eli Manning, over Terry Bradshaw, like them quarterbacks that got multiple rings. I'm taking Dan Marino as my quarterback. Some people in the group, they got Peyton Manning as the greatest quarterback. Peyton Manning only got 2. But the way that he ran the system, the way that he was the system, the way that he got all them offensive coordinators jobs that didn't even do shit. I mean, Peyton Manning, he built Lucas Oil Stadium with the money he brought in. Like, Peyton Manning is one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. I have him at number 2 GOAT-wise. Obviously after Tom Brady, I have him number 2. Mm-hmm. He only got 2 Super Bowl rings, and I think the same goes for Aaron Rodgers. They held Peyton Manning to a high standard. Oh, he lost all them playoff games, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's hard to win in the playoffs, and it's not like the NBA. It's not best out of 7. You know what I'm saying? We see it in the NCAA March Madness all the time. You could get caught slipping.
Oh yeah.
Kevin Durant in the second round, he was out of that. You know what I'm saying? Who was that? VCU. First round, they was the ranked number. They lost to number 16 seed. My team Syracuse, we was a ranked 10th seed. Went all the way to the Final Four. You know what I'm saying? So the New York Giants, they went 9-7, won the Super Bowl. I mean, yeah, I just don't. My point is, I just don't like how people are always putting that much pressure on QBs if they don't win. Like they taking away from their greatness. They do it with Aaron Rodgers. They did it with Peyton Manning. You know what I'm saying? And I think if you played in the era with Tom Brady, that's what kind of standards they holding you to. And I just don't think that's fair.
Yeah.
Jerry.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You see it. You see it. You see it.
I got
two backwards on me, but you see it though.
old Tom Brady. I got two random sports things and 2 quick points, man. One is in response to that one. It's like it's no disrespect to Tom Brady. I think I understand why you make Tom Brady go. He's got 7 Super Bowl rings, you know. But at the same time, I need media outlets in particular, but fans too, but especially these people on TV, especially. And I don't ever expect like Tom Brady. I see Tom Brady post a video like calling out the haters, like shut up. But my thing about Tom Brady is it's not even a discredit of Tom Brady, but it's one of those things of let's not pretend like it was Tom Brady's play that got him those 7 Super Bowls. And that's fine. It's like, if you don't lose any games, I don't really care what your numbers are as a quarterback. And if you can get 7 Super Bowl rings and it's not your fault that you lost these Super Bowls, that's great. That's why I don't even make the arguments about who's, the GOAT when it comes to Tom Brady. If you want to make him go, by all means, do your thing. My favorite quarterback of all time has always been Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning, people talk about, Tom Brady left and went to a whole new team and won the Super Bowl. Peyton Manning went to the Broncos for 3 years and made the Super Bowl 2 times out of those years. And on his last year, before retirement, on one foot with a bad back and everything else, he won the Super Bowl. And when people talk about that game, the first thing they talk about was Von Miller and their defense. Man, look, nobody stopped the Broncos defense. I mean, the Buccaneers defense. The Buccaneers defense was nasty in the second half. The Super Bowl, the playoffs in general, they shut down whoever went in front of them. They went against Drew Brees, it didn't matter. They went against Aaron Rodgers, it didn't matter. They went against Patrick Mahomes, it didn't matter. They ran through whoever. And I think what people fail to realize from last year is they had a top talent on offense and they had a top-ranked defense last year. They was a quarterback away from being relevant again. Because at the same time, people talk about the 30 interceptions that Jameis Winston threw, and God, that's terrible. But he also 30 touchdowns. He was also top 3 in touchdown passes. So they had the talent.
Yeah, number 2.
Yeah, it's like they had the talent to score, but I mean, when you're also giving the ball up 2 times on average, 2 times a game, it doesn't really matter how many touchdowns you're giving if you're giving up interceptions with those touchdowns. It's like getting a bunch of assists in basketball and you're getting a whole bunch of turnovers with it. It don't really matter. If you're averaging 10 assists and also averaging 6 turnovers, I mean, well, shit, what's that doing for you? But I will say, again, credit to Tom Brady. He did not lose that Super Bowl for them. He did everything he was supposed to win it. So I don't blame him for taking advantage of those things that are presented to you. That's what you're supposed to do with Super Bowl. That's what Peyton Manning did to get his Super Bowl. That's what Drew Brees did to get his Super Bowl. That's what you're supposed to do. If you can't get it done any other way, rely on the things that got you there. And they rely heavily on defense. His numbers wasn't that good in the Super Bowl. I also understand why he had to get the Super Bowl MVP. I would have gave it to Devin White. He was the one that was shutting things down. He had 13 tackles for loss, an interception. The defense numbers were crazy. He definitely should have got it. It definitely should have been somebody on defense, but I know why it couldn't have been anybody but Tom Brady. That's my thing on Tom Brady. My other thing is only a quick point is people talk about snubs and all-star voting this year. And we're going to talk about snubs. I'm not even talking about starters because I don't really care who started. I'm just talking about all the lineups are named, and we got all the all-star lineups for both teams. Julius Randle better be one of them.
Oh,
he averaged more points than Anthony Davis. He averaging more rebounds than Joel Embiid, and the Knicks are relevant again. And in all season, everybody was talking about the trade piece they gonna use is Julius Randle. And Julius Randle said, bet. He's shooting like 41% from the three-pointer, and not just that he's taking 1 or 2 a game. Nah, that man is what they thought Blake Griffin was gonna be when he first got to Detroit when he started expanding his game is what Julius Randle is. And he's doing it like very, very like dominant. He's looking damn good in New York. And New York is relevant.
Allowed the least points per game this season, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
New York,
that's a bad thing. So I don't care about none of these snubs because Damian Lillard might not be a starter, but he gonna get in. James Harden might not be a starter, but he gonna get in. Julius Randle better get in. He better be on somebody's all-star team this year.
Oh yeah.
All right, Jared Rich, what you got?
Hey, just this is not my point, but just to piggyback on that all-star snub thing, hey, Julius Randle better be the first reserve they put in that thing. That ball balling, man. That ball balling. Unfortunately, I think they gonna find a way to snub him, though. I ain't gonna lie, but that ball and the East will actually have a lot of snubs, bro. The East got some dudes that's balling, man. But for my point, y'all already see the background, man. Y'all already know what it is. You know, I ain't never get a chance to come on here and gloat since my time, man. But look, hey, it's been a long time coming. It's been a long 18 years since we got to hold this trophy up and be proud to be Bucks fans around here, man. You know what I'm saying? So hey, look, I was in this house, man, when that Super Bowl was going on, bro. I was folding clothes. Cause I ain't gonna lie. I went to the game and I was like, man, that's fucking my homeboy, bro, man. My homeboy was like our pass defense already kind of iffy, man. My homeboy about to, man. When I started watching the game, man, look, I went to sleep. Them clothes were still where they was at when I started. I had to stop and watch that thing from start to finish, man. And it was crazy. And like I told people before, 2 things you can count on in life. And one of them is the Bucks blowing somebody out in the Super Bowl when we get there. You know what I'm saying? Now, it might be a long time until we get there, but when we get there, we gonna let y'all know for sure we was the best team whenever we got there. I don't win nothing about no tackles was out or none of that. When we got there, we did what
I want to speak on that right quick, John Rich. And I think you was on the post. I think you was on that post when I was talking about Patrick Mahomes. Now, most of the group picked Kansas City to win the Super Bowl, including me.
Yeah, I had my doubts too.
We all knew about the missing tackles. We all thought, and most of the media too. The media's like, man, the greatest offense, blah 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 blah. Yep. And then the Bucks end up blowing them out. And then I come on the group. Oh man, Kansas City was missing tackles. Patrick Mahomes was running for his life. I was like, man, you knew that before you made your pick.
I didn't know how bad the offensive line was. I was just going by what I thought of.
I ain't know them backups was that trash though. I knew they were gonna have some backups, but who balled that was some backups.
Boy, as soon as they called hype,
it was eating up
that boy head.
They was eating on them boys. But
Tyreek Hill was dropping passes. Travis Kelce was dropping passes. I mean,
smacked him in the face, man. I ain't gonna. Hey, my homeboy played lights out. He did everything he could. Everything he could. Like you said, that really would have been a touchdown. Tyreek let the ball smack him in the face mask. You know what I'm saying? Like you get hit in the face mask as a receiver, man. That's bad, man. You know what I'm saying?
At the end of the day, that was Patrick Mahomes' chance to catch Tom Brady to be the GOAT. Now that he lost, it's over. Like it's over.
It's a long mountain to climb from here.
At the end of the day, that Super Bowl loss is going to count against Patrick Mahomes. It's not going to count against Tyreek Hill. It's not going to count against. It's going to count against Patrick Mahomes. That's what I'm talking about. The high
stats. Short memory when it comes after people win. It's like people go count it against Patrick Mahomes as long as they don't win. If they come back next year and they don't win, or they get close and don't win, or they make the Super Bowl and don't win, we go talk about, oh man, you see what happened last year. This is just building on that. If they lose to Tom Brady this year and come back the very next year, still the favorites, get past Baker Mayfield and what's going on in Cleveland, get past Josh Allen and what's going on with the field.
Yeah. Everybody got short
Super Bowl, people gonna have a very short memory about how far of a gap it is between the two. Now, if you want to make the argument now, by all means, because I mean, there's no argument against it at the current moment because he lost. But the gap shrinks once people win some games. It's like if Aaron Rodgers, who got MVP and would have made all the way to the Super Bowl and won the Super Bowl, it would have been the second Super Bowl, but people would have had more and louder conversations about him being up there as the greatest, even though he has less Super Bowls, because they're going to start looking at other numbers. Same way with Peyton Manning. Super Bowls, but he got what, 4 league MVPs? My bad. 5 league MVP. Peyton Manning wasn't no slouch. When they said his career was over with the neck injury, with the Colts, they was like, look, man, we love you, but we got to let you go. That man made 2 more Super Bowl appearances and was like, man, I could get 1 more before I head out. And on 1 foot, when Brock Osweiler was supposed to be the answer because he beat Tom Brady in Foxborough in the snow, they was like, nah, we still don't want that guy playing quarterback. We'll take Peyton Manning on 1 foot before we take Brock Osweiler. And it worked out in their favor. He did not, he relied on the defense and used his head. He did not lose you that Super Bowl. The same thing with Tom Brady. Tom Brady ain't got to do a lot. I didn't expect Tom Brady to do a lot, which is fine. You do what you're supposed to do to get you number 7. I can't hate that. Because people talk about other people doing this, that, and third. Look, this is a sport. That means I need to win. I'm going to do what I got to do to win.
Oh, yeah. So to continue on this Buck train, I'm gonna be the first to admit, man, I'm still not a Brady fan. I ain't gonna lie, I'm not a Brady fan. I think Peyton Manning is the GOAT too, but I'll never argue against Brady being named as a GOAT. I mean, you got 7 rings, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot to try to argue against. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, so however you want to go with that, I'm cool with either. But what I do want to say, like I said, I've never been a Brady fan. I've even tried the arguments, oh man, Brady a system QB as Belichick and all that. You know, they made the playoffs with Matt Castle and all that other stuff. You know what I'm saying? But after watching this run and seeing Brady at 43 years old, don't really have the arm that he used to have, go to a vertical offense that's, you know, we trying to put that thing out there with a zone run scheme underneath it when you don't have really zone running back. You know, we don't have no zone running backs. We don't even have a zone running line. You know what I'm saying? Like the scheme just didn't fit the people at all. And after that bad loss to Kansas City, when they chopped us up because of Todd Bowles, I don't know what he went to that game thinking. I'm always revert back to that. But after that loss, seeing how the team kind of revamped itself, kind of changed its approach. They didn't go in man coverage as much as they were early in the year because our corners and safeties can't cover man. That's not who they are. You know what I'm saying? And they started dropping Levante and Devin White in the coverage more, seeing us get away from the vertical attack and start hitting some of the little intermediate throws, start hitting the crossing routes to Gronk and Braid, start putting the way they use Godwin, bro. Like, I ain't gonna lie, Godwin, you know, so I coach the high school receivers. I wish I could get film of Godwin blocking and just show it to them receivers all day. Cause they will put Godwin right on side the tight end, and I'm cracking on a defensive end. And just seeing how they revamped and started using the pieces that we had to kind of suit what Brady can do. And then once they got him comfortable, now we can go back to trying to attack how you want to attack, and just showing how like Brady can do things differently than what Belichick had him doing. He can come to the line and be Peyton Manning at the line and make all these reads, all these checks, check out everything, do all that. Like, and it was then with that playoff. That's what really got me with that playoff run. You ran. I ain't gonna count Washington. They I don't even know who they had. I can't even remember who they had at quarterback for Washington. But that was still a solid defense. That was a great defense. But you ran through Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, and Mahomes, who you throw Peyton Manning in there. That's probably the best 5 quarterbacks to ever put on pads. You know what I'm saying? Out of those 5 that's on there. So you done ran through 3 of the top 5 quarterbacks to ever put on pads. And you smacked them all. You know what I'm saying? And again, I ain't even the type that say quarterbacks play quarterbacks, but it's like you just can't take away from that type of run of going against, 3 shoo-in. We ain't even got to think about the vote. They automatically getting in that thing first round, Hall of Famers, top 5 ever. And in the fashion that they did it in, man, that's great. Like I say, man, it been a long time since I could walk in public and be like, man, I'm a Bucks fan. You know what I'm saying? Then everybody looking at me like, oh man, how long? Motherfucker, forever. You know what I'm saying? So, man, hey, I just had to come on here and get my chance to gloat because I missed the last one. I didn't get my chance, man. So I'm just here. I'm feeling real good. I had my Bucks shirt on earlier. I had basketball practice. I had to come out of that, so had to put on something different. But hey,
I could appreciate the fact that you're a Bucks fan. So I lay all the talk slide because you're.
It been a hard couple years, man. It been a hard. I say 18, but even like the first 3 or 4 after the Super Bowl was alright. But the last 10, oh man, come on, man. Hey, it been hard, man. It been like we ain't relevant.
I let that one. I understand that. I feel it.
Since I've been a Packers fan, I'm trying to think of the top of my. I think 4 quarterbacks came in Lambeau and beat us in the playoffs. The last one I recently was Colin Kaepernick.
Yep, remember that.
Eli Manning, when he won his first Super Bowl, Brett Favre threw that dumbass interception. And the first quarterback I remember was Michael Vick. Now, Michael Vick was the first quarterback, to come in Lambeau in the playoffs and beat us. And he said the crazy part is he said the reason why they was able to beat us because in week 17, before they start making you play a divisional opponent in the last week of the season, in week 17, he said they went to Cleveland. And Cleveland, it was 17 degrees. So when they went to Lambeau, it was like 20-something degrees, so the team was ready.
Yeah, they're ready for that.
So yeah, Mike Vick. So, but this is the most confident I felt out of any. I remember the Packers Philly game a little bit because it was way back in like 2001 or something, 2002, something like that. But I remember the Eli Manning, Colin Kaepernick game right up back of my head. But this game, out of all those 3 games, was the only game I felt like we was 100% gonna win this game. And what I try to tell all the group members, because the group members like, oh, you can't blame Aaron Rodgers. You can't blame Aaron Rodgers. It's not that I blame Aaron Rodgers. It's the fact that he didn't win us the game when he had the opportunity. When you intercept Tom Brady 3 times,
You gotta win
3
that.
times. And you only get 3 points off those 3 interceptions. Then you gotta take responsibility for that. Like that's on you. Like I know they had the Aaron Jones fumble that hurt it. That touchdown at the end of the half that hurt it.
Mm-hmm.
The defense came alive. They gave us a chance to win. People try to blame Kevin King or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But when it comes down to the defense intercepting the ball 3 times, they gave us a chance to win. And we did nothing but score. Those 3 points we scored was the 3 points we scored, we were supposed to go for it on 4th down. That's the 3 points we scored. We were supposed to go for it on 4th down to try to tie the game. That's the 3 points we scored. So yeah, Aaron Rodgers, that was a real disappointing end to the season. You know what I'm saying?
I feel that, but in the offseason, y'all need to get rid of Kevin King. Like,
Hey,
I want to blame him, but y'all gotta let that man go.
it's a possibility we could lose both our running backs because
it's about to be an event for all season.
Because both it's either we lose both our running backs or lose our all-pro center. We keep an all-pro center. We don't pay running backs. We do not pay running backs like at all.
Oh, I know.
We're gonna draft another running back and we're gonna ride AJ Dillon.
I will say this. I know everybody talked about their team. I just want to make my one comment on my team, the New Orleans Saints.
Good.
Look, we know what Drew Brees has done and what he can't do no more. I do think Drew Brees can still pull, so to speak, Tom Brady, but I think Drew Brees is taking too much damage. He's too injured to where I don't think health-wise he has the ability to do that. It's like I think the mind is still there. He can still make enough good plays to win games, but you spend the last 2 seasons missing games because of injuries and then trying to work your way back in and then try to go on playoff runs. I don't think that's a winning formula. That's one point. My second point is I don't mind Jameis Winston. I understand what he looked like, and with the Bucks, I get that.
You know?
I'm positive because I think the thing about Jameis Winston is, at least in his time with the Bucks, is Jameis Winston was in a position where, man, I got these high level receivers. I'ma just launch it down the field, man, because I got them. Even though that's not my thing, but I got them. So if I got Godwin and Mike Evans, man, I'ma just launch it down the field and they're gonna be there to catch it. I don't think that's winning football. That's terrible, terrible football. And Jameis Winston was not equipped to ever do that, ever, 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 ever. However, in different offense, just like I think Carson Wentz would be fine, in a different offense, especially the one like the Saints are set up, you are never asked to actually do that until you need to. When you can make short passes and the easy throw to a lot of players on your team, it makes it very easy or easier to get it down the field. It's the same way that in the second half of the season, they got Tampa Bay going, and in the playoffs, they got Tampa Bay going. We go get Tom Brady some easy throws. So when it's time for him to launch it down the field, he hasn't done that all game, so he can still do it now more accurately, more efficiently, because people talk about, well, he was still slinging down the field. Yes, and in the first half of the season, he was very inaccurate throwing it down the field. It was not a very good percentage of Tom Brady throwing it down the field. So they was like, let's revamp this. Let's get him some easier throws. And then, boom, play action. Mike Evans open. Boom, Godwin's open. We can do this all game. And they did that in the Super Bowl all game. It's easy for them. And my third point is nothing about personnel going into next season. I don't know anything. I work for the newspaper. We haven't heard from any inside sources. Ain't nothing to tell. But I will say, I understand. I as a person on my team, I love Michael Thomas. But if Michael Thomas wasn't on my team, I would understand why people don't like Michael Thomas. because I follow him on Twitter and I watch him in the games. And Michael Thomas, people don't like Gardner Johnson because they don't like his trash talk. But Gardner Johnson is a sports guy. He trash talks on the field. Michael Thomas seems like an asshole in real life. And so he seemed like he makes all these sly remarks on Twitter, and it's almost like during the Super Bowl, he was taking shots at Drew Brees. He was taking shots at teammates. He was taking shots at other people in the game and blah, 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 blah. He seems like a person you just don't like in real life. He doesn't want to talk to certain media outlets because he thinks he's this. I understand that if he wasn't on my team, I will understand why people don't like him. So that's why I don't. I get in these sports group debates and I debate the numbers. But if people don't like Michael Thomas, that's fine because I don't like him either. But he on my team and he produced when he there. He produced while he on the field.
Hey, as I felt about Jameis all these years, man.
Shout out to Carson Wentz, man. He gonna be fine in Indianapolis.
I couldn't stand it. Hey, one thing before we go July, I just want to let everybody know, hey man, Lafayette Lady Lions, we number 2 in the state. We start playoffs on Saturday. We got Bonneville. We looking to make a run. Hey, we only got one senior on the team. That's what I like, and she don't even start. So, hey, Lafayette Lady Lions, man, look, hey, we looking to put that jewelry on our finger real soon, man.
I'm keeping up with it. I'm keeping up with the stats at the newspaper. We gonna see what happened with it.
Oh yeah.
All right, y'all. Well, thank y'all for coming.
Down by 20. Top 10, top defense, MVP. They down 20. No Kevin Durant. They at home.
Hey. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. But Jared, I'm gonna get you on the next podcast, Jared. Me and you we're gonna take that debate from the sports group to the podcast. We're gonna talk about Kyrie Irving and the Nets. We're gonna talk about that. So I'm gonna make sure you're on that one because we gotta have a conversation about that.
I'm with
it. All right, y'all. But yeah, y'all stay blessed, man. Y'all have a good night, man.
All right, man. Hey, I'm sorry y'all team couldn't win the Super Bowl this year, man.
Oh, good.